One. Hey, welcome to Stand Up and our Water Cooler Talk. This is us recreating a workplace environment where we chit chat amongst the employees around the water cooler, talking about whatever we want to talk about. So we'll start with stand up here. Alice.
So I looked into the cold start issue and it looks like it's pretty common and there are a few ways to like mitigate it, including like sending periodic warm-up API calls, but I'm not totally sure how that's done. And yeah, so
There was no option for always on.
I think you can set like a mean scale
Minimum.
option.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
minimum always
we
one.
have it on the bot for the Slack bot. We have that. We have it on one, so there's always one instance running.
yeah, so
Maybe you can
that's
do that.
yeah, okay.
So
So
is it
like with
running
a
but in like
constant
a
connection, right?
so is it running but like sitting in like an idle state and it takes 9-10 seconds to warm up?
No, right now we have for our backend we don't have one always running. Only for the bot.
Okay.
But the bot
Alice,
has to communicate to the backend. That's why it has
okay.
some cost.
Alice, can you set that to 1 for
It's
min?
on the Haley bot.
No, it's on our backend, the billing app backend.
Huh, okay.
All right. Any update on garbage mermaids? We were actually going to talk about some stuff that's relevant to you today.
Oh no, I'm looking at the websites and I don't have any updates right now.
Okay. Ready?
On my side, I was able to update our logo on the Auth0 login, so now it shows UpMortem's logo. I started working on tracking like the amount of API requests each team is doing, and I also tried like
Where are you
enabling
storing that? Where do you store
in our
the?
database.
Okay. That's a Postgres database?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also tried the signing with Slack option in Auth0, and we may be able to use that so the users don't have to like search for their team ID. So if they sign in with Slack,
Yeah.
we can get the team ID from the token.
That'd be fantastic because it was a 10 to 15-minute process to figure out how to get that team ID for a non-native user.
Right. Yeah, I think we can do that. It's not hard. So yeah, I will do that. Yeah, that's
Awesome.
it from me.
Okay. And then you still have we're revamping our tiers. What do we say? We have free, pro, enterprise, right? And then within there, you can also select whether you want privacy, so you can select your own key for OpenAI. The free tier, you can use up to, let's say, 10 queries. I think that's sufficient to try it out. Pro, you can, and if they go over, they get a message from Haley saying that, hey, you're at a quota, here's a link to pay for it. And then if they're on Pro, they have unlimited. And then they also still have the option for privacy or not, if they want to use their own OpenAI key. And then for enterprise is coming soon. It'll be saying coming soon. And then that's where we talk about semantic search and we talk about what the benefits are of semantic search. And then eventually maybe we'll do like I think we can buy like, you ever seen those doodle videos where someone's like drawing stuff out and they're like, maybe we can do something like that explains what semantic search is. I think that'd be cool. All right. And then on my side, so we have Ralph is on a little hiatus till Thursday. Just wants to do a little vacation. So I said, go for it. He's been working this entire time. He hasn't taken any time off. So he'll be back with us on Thursday. And so me and Alice is also helping on this, is we're doing affiliate marketing where we created an Amazon account for affiliate marketing. You find the products that you want to share. You take that link. Then I go to Bard, and Bard I say, give me all the stuff I need for Pinterest for this link. It generates that for me, copy paste, and then it's out there. Anyone that finds that, buys the product there, UpMortem gets a cut. So let's say I do, so today I did, let me share the link. I'm doing organic foods to start, stuff that I believe in, like it's healthy to eat, it's not gonna wreck you. I'll share in the comments here if you see that. So if you go there and you see anything that you think is good, there's only 5 products. I'm gonna try doing like 10 things a day. I'll start with organic foods, then maybe like thing like a parenting, cool things that if you're a parent that you might want to buy to help your kid or whatever. And then we'll just talk about other boards that we want to create that we can, try to advertise, and then we get a cut if someone buys through us. Now, if someone wants to not buy through us, that's easy. Just go through Amazon, right, and search it for yourself, and then let us starve. All right, so let's talk about a few things. Alice, can you tell us about what Reddit recently did?
They made some changes in their API policies where they would charge an absurd amount of money for third-party apps and API calls.
What does that mean to a layman? What does that mean to someone that doesn't know what an API is or a third party?
Basically, Reddit does not want third-party applications to, they don't want users to use third-party applications for Reddit without paying them a lot of money. So they don't want third-party apps to run without paying them a lot of money. So there is a protest on Reddit because all the users are pretty unhappy about this, and a lot of subreddits have gone private. So a lot of content has become unavailable on Reddit to protest the new API policy changes.
Is there any subreddits that you visit that have become private that you can no longer access?
Yeah, pretty much most of them. The only one that is not private right now that is showing up on my feed is our Scuba. So
okay, so you still get Scuba. There are a bunch of scabs on our Scuba.
Yeah, our Scuba is not still protesting. Up. I don't think they are. Our no buy is still up. Yeah, I don't remember which subreddits that I have joined that are actually, gone. I just know that a lot of them are.
Why are they like? I mean, there's like a popular app, a third-party app that I don't know. I'm not a big user of Reddit, so
I use Reddit is fun. So the problem with Reddit is I'm one of the first users of Reddit. I was on Reddit when it was when it was all about computer science. Like all the articles in Reddit were just about like programming, and so I was on there, interesting stuff. And then it turned into where it is now, which is instead of having like one thing that has all the links, it turned into like sub communities, right? So each /r/whatever, right? You can do /r/ your favorite thing. And we even had one for UpMortem, but then we got banned. And then we have another one called the Real UpMortem, which we haven't really updated in a while. Maybe we should put that one private too, just to protest. But we don't really. No one will lose any content though. So at the time, they also had APIs that you could go and fetch all that information. So there's a bunch of like third parties or like independent developers computer programmers that are independent that are writing apps against Reddit. They're sucking all that data down and then rendering it for someone to use it. Now, the thing that I really like about Reddit is fun. It's super simple. If you try to use Reddit, oh man, it's turned into Facebook. It's just got fucking shit everywhere, right? Like they kind of went away from the core aspect of it and started doing like tokens and I don't know, what are some of the wacky stuff that they have, Alice?
Sorry, what was that?
What's some of the wacky stuff that they have on Reddit that, goes away from the core thing about Reddit? Like the features.
The user interface is, there have been a lot of complaints about that, but personally, I actually just use their default app and don't deal with it. But they show you a lot of advertisements. You can't block advertisements, for example, and yeah, some complaints I've heard are like the
Yeah, so
old
probably that's
Reddit.
why they want to charge you, right? To use the API, because if you use the API, you are
Yeah,
like
you don't have
avoiding
to
to.
do. Yeah, you don't have to
So
do
that's-
their ads.
So with Reddit is fun. It's always bad when I try to show. Okay, I got the what's new in Reddit is fun. So this guy, June 10th, 2023, which was 3 days ago, did a recent update. Right, he's on version 5.6.22. He did a banner on there that said it's a really simple looking app. So it's just like links, a little picture, and then up, down vote, and then new, whatever. It doesn't have all the other crap, right? I just want to link, browse links. I don't want to do all the other stuff. I don't want to. I can't chat with someone else on here. Even if I wanted to, like, or maybe be able to comment. Yeah, I can do comments. Look at comments. I don't even know if I can comment myself. Yeah, so the app just does the core stuff. Okay, which is like what I want. I just wanted the core stuff. Just like we talk about Facebook. Back in the day, you could just post some shit, share with friends. Great. Now it's like, holy smokes, what can I do? What can I not do? Everything. It's like Elon's like, I want to do the X app. I want to do everything. And it's like, dude, you do everything, you do nothing because no one can figure out how to do the simple stuff. So I really liked Reddit is fun, and there's a bunch of other third-party independent developers that did apps for Reddit, and people like those apps more than like the Reddit app because the Reddit app has everything. So now they're like, we're going to charge you. I think one person said, if I have to pay the API cost, it's going to cost me $20 million. I don't know if that was per month or per year, probably per year. And he's like, I'm not making that much money to begin with off of this, and now you're gonna make me go and pay millions of dollars. I'm out. I'm shutting it down. So in response, now all these subreddits are protesting by going private and trying to limit the content that you can see. And the stuff that you can see, it's like, talking about the protest. So this is kind of it's kind of cool seeing online protests going on right now. So you can go to Reddit, and then see what you can see, and it's all like protest stuff. So why don't we do that? Let me share my screen.
And do they have like another way to earn money besides ads? So they have like.
Yeah, you can buy like Reddit Gold, which says you can like here, let me share it over here.
Normal microtransactions.
All right, let's see here. Something about white people Twitter. Old school cool. Is the protest still going here? This guy, Spaz is your CEO who like went and implemented this. I mean, if you're gonna blame someone, you always blame the CEO because he's the one. Maybe it's his idea or the board told him. Essentially, he has a lot of pressure. You can feel bad for the guy, but at the same time, he's taking $100 bills and wiping his tears, right? So he's the one that's like, let's go and charge for a ton of money for the API to get the data. So Dank Memes here saying congrats. There's 100 fuck you spez /u/ means like the user, so it's like fuck you spez. That's kind of funny. And then let's see if there's anything left about the actual protest. Or are they censoring all that stuff?
There were tons of popular threads with lots of awards about how they're protesting, but I don't know. Didn't look today, so.
Okay, let's not show that.
Yeah, yeah, we are streaming. I'll go
I was
there.
kind of.
All right,
I can't.
I'm gonna drop. Talk to you guys
Okay.
later.
Bye,
Later.
Alice.
So, this happened in the past where there was this website called Digg, DIGG. Have you ever heard of them?
Yeah.
It was big before. The guy's name was like Kevin Rose or something. One of the founders. They went and did like a user interface change, and then they had a huge hiatus that left to Reddit. Now you can imagine that if someone has something similar to Reddit, doing the basics, you could. I mean, better you could write a Reddit clone.
Yeah, I think the thing is like the community and that people use it. It's not that the product is great, because I don't know, the times that I try to go there, it's like it looks so bad. And so it's definitely the community, because there's no other thing.
Here's a thing. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's always about the people because they're the ones generating the content, right?
Right.
So if I show you, let's see if I can still know how to do this. You could do, I think it's like old.reddit.com. Here's how it used to look. Okay.
I think you are in a different
Oh
screen.
wow, wrong screen. Let me pull this down. Okay, do you see that?
Yeah.
And all my tabs. This is how it used to look. It was like over here, submit a new link, submit a new text post. You could figure it out pretty easy how to
Much
operate
cleaner.
this thing.
Yeah.
It was clean. If you wanted to like look at a bigger picture, pretty simple, right? Like, oh, that thumbnail looks good. Yeah, fuck spaz, right? Like, now it's compare that to now. You got a bunch of shit on the right to distract you, right? You have all these things up top here. You got your, I mean, look how many options I have, right? Like,
yeah.
I can hit this create post button. So maybe the plus button's easy to find. You got to choose a community. Yeah, so if I'm going to go on there, I would just prefer the old school one as opposed to the monster that's become over time, which is normal. I mean, me and you both were in software.
Yeah.
Wait, stop sharing. We know that we get pressure from our customers, and they all want their individual feature that is only good for them. And when they get it, they don't even use it. They're like, actually, we didn't need it. So the software just becomes horrible. And if you try to do everything for everyone, you get a big mess, right? It's super difficult to use. Most companies don't even really user test it. They're just trying to get it out the door that works for one particular customer. I preach the book. What's the book I preach all the time? Inspired.
Yeah.
Right? Inspired talks about if you want to make software, go and find 6 reference customers that you know will actually use it, right? If that's the magic number 6. So, just like, 6. You can maybe two more or 2 less, but around that ballpark, if you can get that many people to say, yeah, I will use this and whatnot. And then you actually develop it, even though you're going slower. So if you have a team that's just like cranking shit out, right? This team, and they're just going full blast on features. The software becomes hard to use, maintain. You like good luck figuring out how everything's interrelated because the button over here has to change somewhere over here. It's a different team. So now you got to go talk to that team. That team is all about security, and like, no, we're not going to do that. Like, Petty's having flashbacks. That's how it was in Teledog. We got the run to the party of no all the time, and you know who I'm thinking. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, it's just too many things. Yeah, too many teams, too many things.
Yeah, so it's not just a problem at Reddit or Facebook. It's a problem pretty much every software company, unless you're super diligent. You're okay with going a little bit slower because you want to craft it well. I think maybe Apple is the one company that um,
Yeah.
they don't just jump on the latest newest thing like Android might do. They always have the coolest stuff first. Apple kind of waits a little bit and says, well, what's going on here? Are you guys actually using it? And they're like, oh, actually, this is people like it. Let's introduce it, but then introduce it without making it too clunky. So I actually like my Android, and it might just because I'm so used to Android at this point. I've been using Android since I think I had like one iPhone in between, but like the latest version of I don't even know what this is a Pixel 7 Pro.
Hmm.
The interface is pretty good, not too hard to figure out things. Have I told you what I think is going to be the future? The
No.
future will be just like you just go at the
Oh, with
text
your
box
assistant. Yeah.
with your assistant, and then if you want to change hey, connect to the Bluetooth device that is this, and then the AI will figure it out and not have to, you just talk to it as opposed to trying to
Well,
find
I
where.
think I don't know if it's that good, but Windows added something like that on the last update. Is that
Mhm.
you can just like ask to do something and it will just do it.
That's awesome. I think
Yeah.
they're already. I think that's going to be the future of interfaces. And I had a conversation with my old boss Oli about this, which was, in the beginning it was command line, right? Everything was text, but it wasn't. It was very structured. You know what I'm saying? You needed to know the
Yeah,
command.
you
You
need
need to
to
know the
know the
arguments.
syntax.
You need to know the syntax. You do a man page where you get the manual for each application. You read through it and you figure out which flags you need. You might not read the whole thing, but you'll see some flags that you think might be interesting. And then we transitioned over to a GUI, and we've been working on this GUI stuff for quite some time. And now I think we're going to revert back because we got rid of the structured element, and it can figure out
Right.
your intent.
We now can use like human language to communicate
Right.
with
And
your
whatever
device.
language,
Yeah.
English, Spanish, Chinese, whatever, right? Mandarin, Cantonese, whatever you want to type it in. So I think that'll be the future. You'll still have cool interfaces like the pictures and whatnot, but when you actually use the app, there'll be probably a lot less buttons, right? Because you don't need the button there. In fact, you can even say like, "Hey, I'm kind of trying to do this. Is this possible?" And then it would say, "No, but hey, I just sent a message to the developer saying, you would like this feature, and then we have a database where it's based off of request, right? So like, what should the developers work on? Well, the number one request that everybody's asking for is this, right? And if you since you're not putting in all these buttons, you can probably do a lot more with using way less UI interface.
Right.
And you're a pro at front end as opposed to me. I'm more of a back end guy. Front end just adding new shit all the time, right? Like it's painful. I call it pixel pushing.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some parts that are painful. Yeah. But
So
nowadays it's like everything is like much like front end centered because there's like a lot of cool things to do on the front end. And
well,
yeah, APIs
back
are getting easier to make.
yeah, you have like what's the query language that you can do? GraphQL, which is pretty much
Yeah.
like a database, right? You just say what you need and then it's gonna return exactly what you need.
Yeah, you have to do more things, but yeah, I don't like GraphQL, but yes, there's that, and yeah, there's some new things that are super cool.
So let's see what other I was gonna point out when I was doing front end. So in the beginning, it was just like HTML, right? It's a little bit of JavaScript, and then a lot of my front end work was using jQuery. So um, then now it's to get the front end is like you have to learn so much, right? Before it was just like HTML, JavaScript, jQuery,
Yeah,
a little bit of
CSS.
CSS.
Yeah.
You're good. Now it's like, holy shit, I have to learn this entire stack, Babel, and JSX and like the alphabet soup in the
Yeah,
front end.
that's another issue right now, that there's a lot of people I know that are learning React and without learning JavaScript. So they know how React works, but they don't know that it's actually JavaScript. So
That's converting it to JavaScript in the after the compiling. What do
yeah,
you
and
call
you're
it? The
writing a lot
pre-pop.
of JavaScript, but they don't know really how it works. Uh, so yeah.
What's the tool? Is it Babel? What's the thing that converts the React to JavaScript?
There's like different tools. Yeah, you can use different compilers. I think Babel is one. Then you have how is it called?
Which one do we use? What do we use for UpMortem?
No, it's just Byte handles everything. That thing started getting easier, so you don't have to worry about that. I can't remember.
Must not be
Super
important.
Yeah, no, it's not anymore.
Yeah. All right. Here's an interesting article.
What's
Anything else you
happening
want to
right
tell me?
now related to what we were saying, that before you were writing HTML, like on the beginnings when you wrote like PHP, with
It was
so
all
you will
one
send
page.
like,
Everything
yeah,
is in one
it
page.
was
Yeah.
it was on one page and you were always like sending like the whole page to the client, the
Yep.
whole HTML. Then we moved to React, where the first thing that you receive is just a really small HTML with a script tag that pointed to the JavaScript file. And now we are going back to sending like to rendering on the
Everything.
server. Yeah.
Well, that's
So
Vercel, right? With the
yeah,
what's
it's Visual and
the
also React. React now has like server components,
mhm.
so you can render on the server and just send the HTML.
I think because at some point there was like a threshold where it made sense, send a little bit, then render it, and it's fast. Now it's like send a little bit and then render it and wait 10 minutes for it to fully render, right? So now it's like,
Yeah,
all
you
right,
have
we're gonna have
loading states everywhere.
yeah. So
So
we're gonna pre-render it because now because people are making these monster apps, right?
yeah,
Like well, they must be doing some fancy shit at Reddit to take all that monstrosity and then send it to the browser and show up quickly because that time to render speed is really important. If you don't render within a certain amount of time, this is why the whole thing with Haley. If Haley doesn't respond in an amount of time, then this thing is broken. If I sit there for 10 seconds and wait for a web page to load, I'm like, this page is broken. Move on. I'm gonna buy my shoes elsewhere.
right. Yeah, and if you render on the server, you can do like a lot of things. So you're like saving a lot of round trips. So instead of requesting the HTML, then making an API request until it comes back and you iterate everything. So you can just make one request. The server will ask the database what it needs, and it send you the HTML with everything.
So it's just funny how we always come back.
Yeah.
We did like mainframe computing, then we went like, all right, we're gonna go to the edge. We're push it down to the actual computers, and now we're like, all right, we're going back to the cloud, and now we're like, actually, cloud, we have problems for this, this, and this. We need to do hybrid, and so
Yeah, they are actually calling React the new PHP.
Wow. Well, PHP has gotten better. I don't know if you've used You use PHP at Teladoc, right?
Yeah,
BCP.
before on my previous work, I also use PHP.
So they still and that they kind of all the complaints. The PHP community has been working on it to address the complaints of like the single page that has just all the tag database queries inside the fucking inside the page, right? Like fun times, right? But at the same time, that was simpler because I didn't have to go to multiple files to figure out where to do my stuff. It was just one file. The database stuff is all there, so I didn't have to like understand the entire layout of an application.
Well, you can do that with React now, so that's the good thing.
So it's the new PHP.
Yeah.
The new old school PHP. So everything is just like becoming
right.
Is there a framework that that someone worked on that said we are good? this framework is good. We're not going to go and modify it much. Kind of like if it was like a Unix tool. This grep tool is awesome. We're going to do security updates, but then we're not going to fuck with it anymore. If you learn this tool, you have it for life. Is there any framework that comes to mind to you that you're like, okay, if I invest the time to learn this, I don't have to spend every 3 months learning a new thing that they're throwing in there, because otherwise my knowledge and skill set's gone.
No, not that I know of. So everything has evolved because React changed a lot. So we had like class components, then we have functional components. Now we have server components, and all of that was in like 4 years, 5 years. I don't know.
So if we're not keeping up.
So yeah.
So do you ever get this where someone's working on the project and you look at their code, you're like, bro, this is so 2022. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, you start working on a project, and by the time you finish it, it's like everything has changed.
Well, and then it's like, imagine, so developers always want to do the cutting edge stuff, right? Like you have a project where they come out with a new way of doing it, where they say this is the recommended way. And then they're like, you can't use hooks anymore because hooks, they have these problems. So now half your code base is hooks. Your new code is the new thing.
And you said you have tech debt, that you never knew if it was going to be tech debt, but now you have that.
Yeah. But we say like, hey, we're gonna update the entire code base to use the new shit. And so now but you know, hey, we have these demands from the customers. We gotta make money, and so the poor developers have to look and try to read this code where they have to understand the entire history of React, of how React evolved over time, so you can understand like, oh yeah, that was how it was done back in 2001, but now we're doing it the 2002 way here, but over here the new code is the 2003 way. Oh, and then 2024 they're coming out the new way, so we're gonna just get rid of all this crap, and then at some point you're like, hey, we're still doing a rewrite.
Yeah.
Which once AI comes and actually is able to do coding on demand, I think I've told you about this, which is, you know, we talked about code as cattle. When you're doing DevOps, you have a container with the code running, and when the container goes bad, you shoot the container in the head and you put a new container, like cattle. The cow is sick, you shoot the cat. You don't nurse the cow back to health. You shoot it in the head. The same thing will happen when AI does coding. So maybe we'll still use containers and that sort of thing, and we'll use infrastructure as code with code as cattle instead of pets. But we'll do the same thing for code. Let's say React says the new cool way to do it is this. AI will say, gotcha, dog. It'll shoot the code in the head, complete throw it away, and then revamp it with the same requirements with the new way of doing it in React. Maybe it's faster or whatever. Maybe you suggest like, hey, if you do this, you're going to get these benefits, but also now your servers, you have to have beefier servers. You know, maybe it'll tell you the trade-offs, right? So it's like, hey, actually you can't afford it because you have a budget for like 2 servers. You switch over here, all these servers are going to get overwhelmed. It was better to push to the client in the first place, and maybe try to do optimizations there. And the AI will be able to figure it out. Maybe AI will look at the type of flow that you get, right?
Yeah.
Where the requests are coming from, and not even suggest it, just do it. Like, don't worry, I got you. Where he's gonna
Yeah,
do
I think
the
at
best way
first
here.
it's going to suggest you. So I don't know. I think you sent an article today that like auto fixing
Auto
the code
healing,
or
yeah.
auto healing. So I think that's going to be awesome. I don't know if you have some error in your log. You send it
And then
from some
it
AI
debugs
that
it.
gets your code,
Yep.
and hey, you have to make this change. Are you okay with this? And you just deploy the fix.
I think that's just a stepping stone to what I described, which is
right.
It just wipes out the code altogether. It doesn't like hone in on the one problem spot, right? And then modifications. It'll just go and say new slate. Every time it does code update, it'll do new slate, because the problem where you start with certain requirements, then your company pivots to something else, somewhat tangentially related. Your architecture is probably not the ideal architecture that you started a year ago compared to today. because of the new requirements come in. So if you actually have AI that looks at all the requirements holistically, which humans' brain, when you get to the size of Reddit or these Facebook or these other companies, no one brain can hold all that, right? But AI can. AI will say, okay, this is the infrastructure that we need. And maybe it will also get rid of microservices altogether. So I can do a monolith that's optimized for everything. And you shouldn't be coming into this code and trying to modify it anyway, right?
Like, yeah, or it will do microservices actually when you need microservices.
When you actually need them, as opposed to like, hey, Fede, we're going to do a new app, and I want you to start out with every single method is its own microservice. You can go to that extreme, right? Like every path is its own microservice. And then you're like, okay, how do I manage that? How do I manage that? I have Kubernetes and I have all this stuff that can kind of manage microservices. But why would you want to do that to yourself as opposed to like, yeah, I can do it all in one file. Super easy to understand. But in the future, it's maintenance, it will not be a concern, right? At the end of the day, all you'll care about is how good is the app for the user. And, you know, the AI can figure that out once we get to a good enough AI. So I talked to you earlier about this the most impactful news from yesterday or today is that governments have agreed to draft a new treaty to control plastics. So by 2040, they want to reduce it by 80%, according to the UN. And the amount of plastic dumped into this actually was relevant to Alice, but she jumped off. The amount of plastic dumped into the ocean is due to more than double by 2040. So the ocean is just full of plastic, right? And these poor animals they look at a plastic bag and they think it's a jellyfish and they eat it and their guts are ruined. And then the other problem that we have, which affects humans, is the microplastics. I don't know where, maybe it was like some article that talked about we consume about a credit card worth of plastic, us as individuals. So we know over time, we're just all going to turn to plastic because you are what you eat, right? So at first I was like, oh, well, it's just plastic and our body, you know, it's like how do you describe something that's like doesn't affect you? Benign. Plastic's benign, just goes through you. And then there's studies now that say like, actually, no. This shit is fucking you up. This stuff is like mutating your DNA and doing all sorts of stuff. So if we double the amount of plastic going into the ocean by 2040, we're probably going to double that card too, right? So we're eating 2 plastic cards every month or however long it takes to ingest plastic. So this is actually really good news that they decided plastics are bad. They're polluting the environment. Let's get away from it.
Do you think they are going to do it, actually?
No, I think we're probably all dead by then. So World War III or the AI is going to kill us or the nuclear holocaust or an asteroid will hit us or so 24. This is not aggressive enough in my eyes. Like if they really wanted to, they could just like, you know, pass legislation. Our government does not care about what the people want, so they can just pass whatever they want, right? I think I shared with you where there's a X and Y of what do the people want, what do they all agree on, 0 to 100%, and then how much money do they have. So if you are, how much of the percentage is actually passed? And it was like a constant 30%. So it doesn't matter how much people want the thing. The only thing that matters, if you put another line on there, is if you have money, how often you get it, and they get up to 60 to 70%. So we could all agree, you know, every single citizen in the US can agree, let's ban plastics and let's do this and let's do that. Unless there's money behind it. And that means like the individual lobbyist and the corporations that are behind them, if they think they can profit off of it, a legislation, then it'll pass. So I think what the companies are trying to figure out is like, okay, if we ban plastic, what can we do to replace it to make more money? So if they have a way, if the solution is easy and doesn't make them money, we're not going to implement it. So it has to make money. That's like the number one requirement. Otherwise, forget about it. If there was like a simple solution, like, oh, actually, we found this we have this other chemical that breaks it down beautifully and puts it back to its original form, and we can easily recycle it. That is not going to fly. It's got to make money. So the other cool thing that's in this article says that I didn't know actually. Producing single-use plastics alone more greenhouse gases than the whole UK. So the straws and the plastics and all that shit is generating a lot of carbon, which after looking at all the data, it looks like definitely climate change is going to fuck us up. So there's an article that Alice shared with me that just showed like right now, things are just getting wacky and unbalanced in the ecosystem. So we're not too far out from like crazy hurricanes and wacky weather, heat, just coming down on us. Like I said, 2040.
Yeah, and I think I'm more optimistic. I think we're going to be good by 2040, but I think they will reduce by 80%. I don't believe it. It's not possible.
So there's probably do you guys have in Argentina like the plastic straws that are not plastic, but it's like composable?
Yeah, we had that for some time, and now they just don't give you a straw.
Just drink it.
Yeah.
Which actually, like,
yeah.
Why not just drink the drink, right?
Yeah.
They're probably like, oh, your lips touch it. And well, when I was there with my buddy in Argentina, we were in Buenos Aires. We did a bike tour of Buenos Aires, and we sat down at a park. He pulled out his mache with this thing, and then this is pre-COVID, of course. And then he started passing it around. And I went to my buddy, and my buddy was like looking at me like, "Fuck, I gotta drink this thing after this guy's lips have been on it. This guy is a dirty Argentinian. I don't want my lips touching it." But he drank it, and I laughed.
Yeah,
So.
we do that.
But you guys had like metal straws, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So reusable.
Yeah.
Nice. The other article, is there anything else on here? The other article, Chinese electric vehicle EV manufacturer BYD, which has been a major player in the industry, is selling more new energy vehicles in 2022 than Tesla, according to Evercore. And so the Chinese company, and they're kicking Tesla's butt in new energy type of cars. That includes performance cars, like sports cars, luxury models, and other types of cars. Thoughts on that?
Do they have self-driving? That's all I care.
Let's see. That's what BYD. Does BYD have self-driving cars?
Because I don't know, for me the most like cool thing about Tesla is that it's not that they are electric. I wouldn't buy a Tesla only because it's electric. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, it's actually, for you to buy an electric car with the current manufacturing process, you are putting more carbon in the air than it is for you to buy a gas car and then burn fossil fuels. There's so this is a Tesla. It starts up high. This is like where the 0 point is. This is a gas car, and the slope of this here is less, right? So it's a little bit, and then this one has to, over like 20 years, 10, 20 years, does it actually even catch up for you to offset the carbon. Right. Now, when I bought my Tesla, I didn't know that. I was like, oh, I'm doing great for humanity. I'm getting I'm like smug and I'm like, feeling good about saving the environment. In actuality, I dumped a huge ton of carbon just like getting that car built and then buying it.
Yeah, and it also depends on how the energy that you put in your car is like produced.
Where's it coming from? Yeah. And well, California, I think a lot of ours is clean energy. I think that's what, at least that's what Newsom will tell you. But the problem is like the cars are. We do have like the Fremont plant over here. I don't know where they're getting their energy. Like, is it oil they're burning? Is it coal? Is it green from wind turbines, or is it coming
Right.
from solar? I don't know.
Yeah, that's another
So,
thing to keep in mind.
all right. Good chatting. Good water cool talk. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Thanks, Rash.
Later.